Those numbers that you just said, absolutely staggering. This was one of the most violent holiday weekends we've ever had in the city of Chicago, and it happened over the 4th of July weekend where we had officers working 12-hour shifts with no days off. Tonight, the superintendent saying he's calling on Kim Foxx's office to do something about this, to work together to keep violent offenders behind bars. One of the things I want to tell you right when we begin here is we can actually hear the sound of explosions coming from that industrial complex, which is just about a block or so behind me. Investigators who were here with the fire department tell me that's the sound of exploding lithium batteries. Take a look here at some of the video that we have right now. This is Chopper 7 HD flying live above the scene here in Morris. The blaze starting around noon today in the area. That's about 60 miles southwest of Chicago. According to fire officials, that tornado in Naperville actually touched down in this area where I am right now, completely leveling this house behind me in the Ranch View neighborhood. Come with us a little bit closer to this damage. You can see these are the floors. That's all you can see from this home that was completely destroyed here in the east end of Naperville. You can see the appliances, and then that's it. We haven't really been able to locate some of the debris because fire officials say just completely broke off overnight when that tornado touched down and scattered across this neighborhood here. And we can tell you that that 15-year-old girl was shot in the chest and in the arm. She is here at Comer Children's Hospital being treated for those injuries. Investigators and witnesses telling ABC 7 tonight that teen was caught in the middle of a shootout. Now, there are 20 state-supported mass vaccination sites spread out in Cook County and in the collar counties across Illinois. One of those is right here behind me, this old Kmart location in Des Plaines right off of Oakton Avenue. They have the capacity to vaccinate 2,000 people every single day, and they've been one of the busiest sites and the largest sites. Double murder happened here in LaSalle County. We're now learning that the suspect's ex-wife had filed an order of protection against him, which had expired. Judy Robb, that's right. Those numbers that you just said, absolutely staggering. This was one of the most violent holiday weekends we've ever had in the city of Chicago, and it happened over the 4th of July weekend where we had officers working 12-hour shifts with no days off. Tonight, the superintendent saying he's calling on Kim Foxx's office to do something about this, to work together to keep violent offenders behind bars. Tonight, a 12 and 13-year-old boy both recovering from gunshot wounds. The teen and his cousin hit by gunfire near Washington Park over the weekend.
These babies are out here getting hit with bullets. It just doesn't make any sense.
One of the boys hit by the bullets in the drive-by is the younger brother of a member of Good Kids Mad City. That group of young activists works to make a positive change in Chicago.
It just strikes so close to home.
Good Kids Mad City sharing this photo of their member Vontae, who's now at home taking care of his brother, who is recovering.
The violence is happening because the summer brings opportunity. And so if you're not actually going to address those issues at their roots, then you're going to keep running into the same problem.
Among those wounded in the violent weekend, 2 Chicago police officers and nearly a dozen juveniles.
There were several other incidents where, children were shot.
Investigators say a 6-year-old girl was one of those wounded.
The mother and daughter are watching fireworks outside. Car drives by, discharges the firearm. Child is struck.
To prepare for the notoriously violent holiday weekend, 12,000 Chicago police officers had their days off canceled and worked 12-hour shifts.
And I think that question is a beautiful question. Did the safety plan work over the weekend? No.
Even with a heavy police presence, this holiday weekend even deadlier than last year.
Strategy-wise, we did our part. The outcome of a safer weekend is the criminal justice system, which includes the courts. So if the courts are continuing to release violent people we arrest, the outcomes of our strategy are less effective than they could be if they hold violent offenders.
After hearing those comments once again from Superintendent David Brown here at CPD headquarters, the state's attorney's office responding tonight. Take a look here. Kim Foxx tweeting just a short time ago saying in part, the number of shootings, murders, and children who were shot over the holiday weekend is horrifying. Foxx also says the violence is not the result of a slowed down court system, but says it's a larger and more complex issue that requires working together, not blame shifting. Back out here live at CPD headquarters, we're also hearing tonight from Chicago's Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who says she plans on talking one-on-one tomorrow afternoon with President Joe Biden when he's in the area to visit. She says she's going to ask him about gun control and also about federal dollars that could help out in the fight against gun violence here in the city of Chicago. We'll have much more on that coming up tonight at 5 o'clock. Reporting live tonight at CPD headquarters, I'm Alexis McAdams, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. Back to you.
Alexis, thank you.
Cheryl Allen, we can tell you that that 15-year-old girl was shot in the chest and in the arm. She is here at Comer Children's Hospital being treated for those injuries. Investigators and witnesses telling ABC 7 tonight that teen was caught in the middle of a shootout. A shootout near 61st and King Drive ends with a 15-year-old girl in the hospital. The teen shot in the arm and chest while walking her dog. Witnesses say a gunman yelled at her to get out of the way before he opened fire. The innocent child caught in the crossfire. This shooting coming on the heels of a violent weekend in Chicago. 48 people shot, 5 people killed. Among the wounded, a 2-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 13-year-old.
It's a hard weekend, obviously.
The Chicago Police Department making shift changes to address the crime. Rank and file officers on notice to have days off canceled, and commanders will be working later through the summer.
More work to do, obviously, in all areas of reducing crime, but we are making incremental progress in reducing the most violent crime that occurs, homicides.
Chicago police say violence against their officers is also climbing. 2 officers shot and wounded on Sunday, part of a dangerous pattern.
Since 2020, which is in the last 15 months, 108 officers have been shot at or shot at the Chicago Police Department.
That child still here at Comer Children's Hospital being treated for those injuries after that shootout this afternoon. Investigators tell us they're bracing for a post-pandemic summer, still working on their plans for that crime plan, which will be released in the next coming days. Reporting live at Comer Children's Hospital, I'm Alexis McAdams, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Very disturbing story tonight. Thanks so much, Alexis.
Good evening. One of his most controversial projects is right behind me, the Thompson Center. Jahn's wife tells me tonight he was actually drafting up plans recently to keep parts of his design in the redevelopment. Tonight, family and friends saying goodbye to famed German architect Helmut Jahn. The 81-year-old was struck and killed while riding his bike in suburban St. Charles over the weekend.
We not only lose one of the best architects on the planet, we lose someone who cared about Chicago.
Jahn was famous across Chicago and around the globe for his postmodern architecture. He was the brains behind United O'Hare's terminal of flashing and colorful lights. Also, the Thompson Center, one of his most controversial projects.
You go inside, there's a soaring atrium that lays bare government, if you will, and the functions of government and the elevators and everything. Here it is. Here's your democracy, all laid open for you.
The 17-story state-owned building now up for sale. Jahn's family says he was distraught over that announcement last week, drafting up new plans to keep parts of the building for redevelopment. Landmark Illinois adding the building to their most endangered list, working to keep it open.
This unfortunate circumstance of losing Helmut at this time makes the preservation of that building ever more important as part of his legacy to changing the landscape of Chicago.
Jahn was born in Germany in 1940 and moved to Chicago in '66 to study at the Illinois Institute of Technology. His legacy will live on through his work, like at the Chicago Board of Trade, where he designed this extension. Also, he was the architect behind Brilliant's acclaimed Sony Center.
He loved talking about his projects, which every architect loves to do, right? But you know what? I think he was at a point in his career where he could really look back and be proud of his structures.
Tonight, Jahn's family asking for privacy. Reporting at the Thompson Center, I'm Alexis McAdams, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Parking garage.
Good evening, Karen. There were several shootings across the city of Chicago, more than 24 just since Friday night alone, and still more shootings rolling in tonight. And we're still counting up those numbers. Just since Friday, though, as we mentioned, more than 24 shootings, one in the city of Chicago's River North neighborhood. Investigators tell us it was a gun battle inside of a parking garage. Take a look at this video. Crime tape and SWAT teams lined the street after a morning gun battle in this River North neighborhood. Investigators say a group of men got into a fight around 10 o'clock this morning inside of this parking garage. That garage is attached to a luxury high-rise near Dearborn and Grand.
I heard several shots go off.
Police say someone started shooting and others fired back. At least 3 people were hurt. This car towed away from the scene riddled with bullet holes.
Downtown has changed. It's changed a lot.
Just since Friday night, more than 24 people have been shot and at least 5 people killed. One of those shootings happened in the city's Belmont-Cragen neighborhood overnight. Police say a man was spotted running down the street with a rifle. Investigators say he had gunshot wounds to his own back. He was taken into police custody. Another man was found dead nearby. On the city's south side, a large party ended with gunfire. 2 people killed, 3 others wounded at that party in Gresham.
I don't think all the shootings that we see in Chicago going on are totally gang related. Some of them are a lot of little cliques and beefs that people have with each other. A lot of retaliation going on.
Pastor Corey Brooks says the violence also ended up on his street today.
There's just a lot of violence at this time.
A 21-year-old shot and killed this afternoon in the 1300 block of East Marquette Road. Brooks was at his church when he heard about that shooting, working with community groups and outreach to stop the violence before it starts.
We're trying to identify the shooters or those who have the potential to be shot, and then we make relationships with them.
Investigators tell us that a Chicago police officer accidentally discharged their weapon inside of that parking garage in the city's River North neighborhood around 10 a.m. this morning. Responding to that shooting, we're still working to get more details on exactly how that happened. No one was injured when that weapon was discharged, but the Citizen's Office of Police Accountability is investigating.